Okay, hello everyone. A very good day to all of you. Welcome to this webinar, and it's indeed my pleasure to be with all of you here, virtually of course. My name is Dr. Teh Peling, Head of English Unit, Curriculum Development Division, Ministry of Education Malaysia, and I'm a host for today's Penataran module bimbingan Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2. Okay, welcome. Well, maybe some of you will be asking for attendance link. The attendance link will be provided at the end of this webinar session, yeah? So stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear teachers, with me today in this webinar, we have Mr. Mohammad Shazwan bin Jonit from BBK, and that's me, myself. Then we have the other three panel teachers. First is teacher Aliza Alexandra from SK Kamaramas, Kuala Lumpur. Teacher Maizato Sarah Yusof from SK Kampung Daching, Negeri Sembilan. And Sir Hemangatan Mundiandi from HAKT Ladang Jawi, Pulau Pinang. There are two parts in this webinar. And the first part will be the overview of the Mobim. Okay. And the second part will be the sharing session by our three panels. They will share the use of the module in their teaching and learning of English language. And Mr. Shazwan will be moderating the session. So in this module, next slide. This is a module bimbingan Mobim that we are presenting to you. It is a common book for both SK and SJK, level 2 primary school teachers. So level 2 here is for the year 4, year 5, and year 6 primary school pupils. The module will be uploaded on BPK website and also the Delima platform. Next, Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2 aims to improve the quality of English language education by focusing on these objectives. Firstly, the main goal is to ensure that teachers can effectively deliver the English language curriculum in the classroom. And this means that teachers are not only just following a plan, but are actively engaging pupils in learning using methods that make the curriculum more accessible and impactful. Then Mobim presents teachers with creative and practical strategies to design lessons that are fun and engaging. So this is particularly important for year level 2 primary pupils who are at this critical stage in developing language skills. That's when they learn the listening, speaking, reading, and writing skill. So by incorporating these enjoyable activities found in Mobim, teachers can capture pupils' interest, helping them to stay motivated and focused. Number 3, so Mobim encourages the teaching approach that makes learning enjoyable and personalized. Remember, we talk about differentiation strategies. So differentiation here means adapting lessons to cater to your own pupils using your own setting, your own locality. Okay? And this flexibility ensures that pupils are learning at their own pace. Some pupils learn faster, some will be taking their own pace, their time, and receiving the support that they need. So instead of relying on just traditional testing method, so Mobim support a range of assessment strategies here as well for the PPD. This includes the group work, presentations, or projects that allow teachers to assess pupils in different ways. Varied assessment provide a more complete picture of each pupil's progress and understanding. Lastly, Mobim emphasizes the importance of evaluating and adapting teaching materials to meet the diverse needs of pupils. Not all pupils learn in the same way as I mentioned earlier. So teacher can adjust resources to ensure every pupil follow the lesson and of course to achieve the learning goals. So in short, Mobim aims to make teaching more dynamic, flexible, and people-centered, ensuring that every child has the opportunity to thrive in an enjoyable and supportive learning environment. Well, this is just a very short snippet from me. I would like to pass the moderating session to Mr. Mohammad Shazwan, and let's welcome Mr. Mohammad Shazwan.
Thank you, Dr. Teh. That sounds promising. I must say that I'm so thrilled to hear from our panels. First off, we'd have Miss Aliza to walk us through the overview of the module. She will be explaining the mechanism of the module and how teachers can utilize it. And after that, uh, Miss Sarah will be talking on the performance standards. Mr. Hammond will then continue with learning standards and some of the terms used in our curriculum document. So the second part of the session, we'd have Miss Sarah and Mr. Hammond again to explain further on the lessons. And the final part, Miss Aliza will be sharing with us some of the digital tools that are useful for the lessons. Okay, are we all ready? So let's start. Take it away, Miss Aliza.
Thank you, Mr. Shazwan and Dr. Tay, for the introduction to Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2. Hello, fellow educators and everyone from the education industry. So I'm here to walk you through on the mechanism of the module that has been created. I would like to say that it has been beautifully created for teachers, which is very friendly as well as informative. Hence, I will be guiding you through as to how to utilize Mobim in your daily lessons. Right. So, if you happen to have a copy of the module, you may flip through it as I take you step by step. If you don't, worry not. You will be having access to it soon on the websites. So, the module has been crafted in a way that dissects the four main skills. So, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing, along with language arts individually. And of course, with reference to the official documents that we have, which are the SKP and the scheme of work. And as you can see from the example here, the content for each skill begins with an overview of that particular specific skill from the lenses of a CFR aligned curriculum, along with the nature of the skill and with some specific examples given for the specific skill. Right. Now, after glancing through the overview, the module then addresses learning standards and also terms which are again extracted from the DSKP and scheme of work as well. Right. So the advantage of this Mobim here could clearly be seen as it actually outlines the progression of each learning standard from year 6 up to from year 4 up to year 6. So the yearly progression gives teachers a much clearer picture of how the learning standards develops from year to year. And following to that are the terms. We find many terms in the learning standards, and the definition of these terms for each learning standards are explained in very simple words, again extracted from the DSKP and scheme of work. This is done in a very simple, constructive manner, with a and in mind that it is to assist teachers with better planning of lessons, especially when it comes to material development and also assessment. Right. And the content then progresses to lesson mapping. So, what is lesson mapping and why do we need it? Right. Well, lesson mappings actually maps the lesson numbers in the scheme of work to the learning standards for each respective year. So the purpose of lesson mapping is to ensure that all learning standards are addressed within the specific year. So let's look at the example here on the slide. This is the lesson mapping for year 4 writing. And every skill, if you look into the module, has 3 lesson mappings. So one for each year. So you have one for year 4, one for year 5, and one for year 6. So the yellow boxes here addresses the learning standards for SK, whereas the blue boxes are for SJKC. Okay. Through this mapping, teachers will be able to track the learning standards addressed throughout the year. And personally, this is extremely instrumental for classroom based assessment, right? And now that we have looked at lesson mapping, the content continues to performance standards for every skill. This part here gives you a clearer picture of the connection between learning standards and performance standards, again, as per the DSKP. Once again, just like lesson mapping, this part is also done year by year for every skill. So again, looking at the slide, at the example given here, the performance standards are extracted again from the SKP. They are matched to each learning standard. It also shows the progression of the performance level for each learning standard from performance level 1 up to performance level 6. In the DSKP, performance standards are placed within the 6 performance level as a whole chunk for every skill. However, here in Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2, you will find it easier to maneuver the performance level, as you will be able to see the progression from performance level 1 up to performance level 6 for each learning standard. This specific part of Mobim will be helpful to guide teachers again in classroom based assessment. All right, now that we have understood, learning standards, terms, performance standards, now comes the fun part where we put them together to come up with lessons. So in Mobim, for every skill, you will be able to find 2 example lesson plans for each skill as well as for language art. So one lesson would reflect on a textbook based lesson, whereas the other one would be a non-textbook based lesson, which are both adapted from the scheme of work. The lesson plans are designed in a way to address differentiated strategies, learning material adaptation, and also classroom-based assessment strategies. And here you will find interactive dialog boxes, light bulb symbols, digital tool ideas, which would give teachers ideas of ways to personalize the lesson based on the scheme of work. Now, the lesson ends with examples of classroom based assessment and also guidance on using the performance standards for justification. Right. Now, at the end of every skill, there will be a set of frequently asked questions. So these questions listed are based on common misunderstandings among teachers, and the answers are curated to address those misunderstandings and misconceptions. So this is how Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2 has been designed. Concise information of all the documents that we have packed together in a beautifully illustrated document, which is to be used for every part of teaching. It comes from lesson planning to lesson development as well as assessment. Yeah. And it also provides concrete visualization of the progression to be made from year 4 to year 6. And now I am actually quite thrilled to know more on each part of this module. So with that, I will pass it on over to you, Mr. Shazwan.
Okay, thank you, Miss Aliza, for the overview of the module. I think it's really adequate, the information that you give us. You've given us valuable insights into the key themes of this module. Now I'm getting excited. I'm pretty sure the teachers out there are feeling the same too. Am I right? Well, with that being said, let's dive deeper into the module, shall we? Now, I'd like to invite Mr. Hemen for our next session. Are you ready, Mr. Hemen? Over to you, Mr. Hemen.
Thank you, Mr. Shazwan. Good afternoon once again to Dr. Tay, Mr. Shazwan, and all educators and officers who are here with us. I will now proceed with my presentation, focusing on learning standards and lesson mapping, which are critical elements that need to be mastered by us, the educators. Now, dear teachers, mastery of learning standards is integral as it equips us with the ability to develop impactful lesson planning and achieve our objectives. This module effectively incorporates lesson mapping, providing educators with a clear overview of how learning standards are reiterated throughout the teaching years, specifically in years 4, 5, and 6. You'll find the lessons being thoughtfully organized based on the can-do statements outlined in the TSKP. And they highlight the progression made each year while clearly outlining the differences among them. If you take a clear look at the learning standard in the image, it focuses on learning standard 1.1.1 for year 4, year 5, and year 6. And without this mapping, it is not easy for us to see how each learning standards are made to progress from year to year. The learning standard in each year actually differs in terms of how it is described and what is expected of the pupils. For example, the learning standard of 1.1.1 in year 4 is for the pupils to recognize and reproduce with support a wide range of target language phonics. The same learning standard for year 5 is for the pupils to recognize and reproduce with little or no support a wide range of target language phonics. A lengthier can do statement can be seen for year 6 that requires the pupils to recognize and reproduce independently a wide range of target language phonics. So, teachers, we can conclude that learning standards in each and every year carry some terms that indicate gradation, and understanding them is really important. And where do we find the meaning for these terms? Yes, it can be found in the scheme of work or SOW. Is it really important to know the meaning of these terms? Definitely, yes. It is important for us to know the meaning of the terms for us to facilitate in the assessment process later. The mapping of learning standards in this module is done according to the lesson number outlined in the scheme of work or SOW. And the lessons from the SOW are organized according to their learning standards. Skills are usually revisited, as all of us know, in different lessons to strengthen pupils' mastery. And teachers, the effectiveness of a lesson is always measured by the skills acquired from the teacher's instruction. So, skills are repeated to enhance understanding and the mastery of the skills. Mastering the skills is the foundation of every lesson. You might have had a question of why there is a difference in the total number of repetition in SK and SJK. You will always find SK has more. The variation in the number of repetition arises from the different total hours assigned to SK and SJK, right? So that is all about the overview of learning standards and lesson mapping in the module. Thank you very much. And back to you, Mr. Shazwan.
Thank you, Mr. Hemin. That was explicitly explained. Congratulations. Well, sometimes we tend to overlook the terms used. Am I right? So this module is to remind us again that it's imperative that we need to really understand um, what the terms entail so that we can better plan the lesson activities to achieve our lesson objectives. All right. Now, let's dive deeper into the performance standards. Miss Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Shazwan. I'm very excited to be here, and you can see that on my face clearly. And before I start, I'd like to say hello to everyone attending this webinar. Good evening, and thanks again for joining us today. Okay, so now let's proceed directly to exploring the performance standards. As primary English teachers, we know that setting clear expectations is key to guiding our pupils towards success. And one of the tools that helps us do this effectively is the performance standards, and they can be found in our curriculum documents. So the performance standards, they outline the degree of proficiency that the pupils are expected to demonstrate in relation to the content and the learning standards. And as teachers, these descriptors help us to not only understand what our students need to learn, but also how well they can do these skills by the end of each stage. And what the descriptors do for pupils is it encourages them to reflect, to think critically, and even make adjustments to their learning strategies, and which in turn will help them self improve and to help them grow. I'm sure most of you know, but here comes a rhetorical. Where can you locate these performance standards? Well, you should be able to find them in the standards-based curriculum and assessment document, or the document standard curriculum dan pentaksiran, the DSKP for short. And like the one I have displayed for you here on the screen, this is the DSKP for Year 4 English. And like all the other DSKPs, it provides the content standards, the learning standards, and the performance standards for each of the four skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, for example, if you're teaching speaking to a year 4 class, you can refer to the performance standards guide for speaking skills. I have it up for you. And you can find the descriptors that outline aspects of proficiency in speaking skills. In other words, it provides descriptions that show what the pupils should be able to do to be considered proficient in speaking at this stage of learning. So for speaking, and I'm reading off the bullet points here in the table to illustrate. The year 4 pupils, they can communicate simple information, they can manage interaction, describe people and things, as well as narrate short basic stories. To illustrate further, here on this slide, you can see the degree or the quality of proficiency that the pupils are expected to display, again, in relation to the content and the learning standards. Okay, let's say, for instance, you're carrying out a lesson focusing on learning standard 2.3.1, which is to narrate short basic stories. Now, would you be able to determine which descriptors match this learning standard? So I'll give you a moment to look for it, and maybe you can respond in the comments. Just a moment. Yes, so even without pointing it out, I'm sure you'd be able to spot it easily. As you can see, the similar phrases narrate short basic stories. And I think I've made it quite obvious for you as I've underlined them in orange, right? So apart from that, you can also see the varying degrees of ability that I've highlighted with the green dotted lines. And these correspond to each of the 6 performance levels. So for instance, let's look at performance level 1. To what magnitude can the pupils narrate short basic stories? So this descriptor tells us that the pupils at this level, they face difficulty narrating short basic stories. And this is despite the fact that they are given a lot of support. To help all of you understand a little bit better, let's look at another performance level, but in more detail, shall we? Again, looking at the same learning standard, 2.3.1, the descriptor highlighted matches the learning objective that pupils are expected to achieve. which is to narrate short basic stories. But it also entails to what degree. So here, for performance level 6, the pupils should be able to do so. Do what? Narrate short basic stories. To what degree? Creatively, with clear diction and articulation. It's also important to note that you can see in the final bullet point uh, that for this performance level, that last descriptor is applicable for all the learning standards. As pupils who are able to achieve this level should be able to, number one, display exemplary models of language use, as well as be able to guide others. Now, let's talk about how Mobim Bahasa Inggris Tahap 2 supports us in presenting these performance standards. And since we referred to the Year 4 English DSKP earlier, we'll take a look at the same example here. So what you have here on the screen, you can see a part of the Year 4 performance standards for speaking skills as detailed in this module. And if you have downloaded the module and you're going through it right now, it can be found on pages 45 and 46. Aliza did mention earlier in this webinar that this module clearly illustrates the connection between the learning standards and the performance standards, and it's outlined in the DSKP. But in the DSKP, the performance standards are grouped together as a complete set for each skill across the 6 performance levels. However, in Mobim Bahasa Inggris Tahap 2, I find it easier to navigate these performance levels because you'll be able to clearly see the progression from performance level 1 to level 6 for each individual learning standard. And I'd just like to share here, I'm also a first-time user of this module, and I find this particular section of Mobim Bahasa Inggris Tahap 2 to be incredibly helpful in guiding teachers, especially when it comes to implementing classroom-based assessments. In this module, as you see in the slide, the list of corresponding performance level descriptors for each learning standard is presented in simple, concise tables. And you will be able to see this on your screen in the next 4 slides. And with that, I hope my explanation of the performance standards was clear for everyone. I'll now pass it back to our moderator, Mr. Shazwan.
Well, thanks, Sarah. That was brilliant. But I do have a question for you. Can teachers set a performance level for all the pupils to achieve? Say, for example, I have year 4 pupils with me, and then is that okay if I predetermine the performance level? For example, performance level 4 for my pupils. I mean, I want everyone to get performance level 4. Can we predetermine the PL? Can we do that?
Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Shazwan. What you're asking is actually I've seen it being done. Teachers, they set a fixed performance level and the same performance level at that for every pupil in their class, even before the lesson begins. Like sometimes you would see it in their lesson plan. I would say that it's not ideal to predetermine a performance level for all pupils in a lesson. Well, this is because each pupil progresses at their own pace. They have different strengths. They have different areas for growth. And the purpose of the performance levels is to assess where each individual pupil stands in relation to the learning standards. So, if a teacher predetermines a level, the teacher may risk overlooking the unique learning needs of each of the pupils. And instead, the assessments should be flexible and they should be based on the actual performance that's demonstrated during the lesson. And I think that would allow for a more accurate and fair evaluation. I hope I've addressed this misconception through my response.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. So the key here is we have to understand that each pupil progresses at their own pace. Yep, and they have different strengths and different areas for growth. So by not predetermining the PL, we're giving them the opportunity to progress at their own pace, right? So we are being fair to all the pupils. All right. Thank you for the explanation, Miss Sarah. I'm sure you have more to share. Am I right? So shall we continue?
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Shazwan. I forgot I'm doing the next part. So, in this next segment, we'll be diving into one of the key sections of this module. This particular section, it explores the various types of lessons adapted from the scheme of work. These lessons range from textbook based to non textbook based lessons, and they range across the different years of level 2, years 4, 5, and 6, as well as covering the different skill focuses. Basically, what this section does of the this section of the module, it's designed to give us tailored lessons with practical strategies, formative assessment support, and I think this can really help to enhance our teaching. But before we begin we look into an example from this section of the module. It's important to note that for this particular segment, we won't be merely looking at the suggested activities and the teaching strategies that are outlined in the lessons provided, but at how the lesson components are presented in this module and how we can make the most of it. Okay, with that being said, let's begin by exploring a year 6 textbook based writing lesson. Again, if you have downloaded the Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2 module and you have it with you right now, you will be able to see this lesson from page 106 to page 108. Okay, at the very beginning, this Let's Explore a Lesson section provides a detailed outline for a textbook based lesson. It's designed to target Year 6 writing skills. The lesson details contain information that's taken from the scheme of work, and these details include the lesson numbers for both SK and SJK, the unit of the Year 6 textbook. So here the unit is Unit 4, Cool Jobs, and it can be found in Academy Stars. And the learning standards are 4.2.1 and 4.2.4. The lesson is spread across several stages, helping to structure our classroom activities clearly and effectively. So here we can see the pre-lesson stage. And I find that one of the standout features of this module is its adaptability. And what I've done for you here is highlight these features in the orange boxes. So throughout the Let's Explore a Lesson sections, you can see these light bulb moments. So you can see areas where light bulb icons appear, and they include suggestions for It could be differentiation strategies. So they propose strategies that you can use to cater to the various learning levels in your classroom. They suggest learning material adaptations, where they give ideas on how to make materials more suitable for different pupil abilities, or different pupil preferences. They provide instructional strategies that guide you in delivering the lesson content more effectively, and formative assessment opportunities. And these are embedded within the lesson stages. They allow you to track the pupil progress in real time. On this next slide, you can find a couple more examples of these light bulb moments that I mentioned earlier. You can see an instructional strategy there at the bottom, and also options for a formative assessment opportunity. Can you see another orange box in the top left corner? Well, obviously you do. Well, this module also suggests the integration of digital tools and activities. And this can help you make lessons more interactive, more engaging for pupils. The module provides practical suggestions on how teachers can incorporate digital resources into lessons. For instance, through creative online apps or platforms like WordWall, to help enhance pupil engagement. Another interesting part of the Let's Explore a Lesson section in this module is its built-in formative assessment options. Here you can see that the module, not early like earlier on, you saw that the module recommended the options of pupils carrying out self-assessment or peer assessment. So Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2 not only recommends the options of pupils carrying out these types of assessment, but it also includes the actual checklist that you could use, and it's included in the appendix. So you have a clearer picture of what the checklist should look like if you wanted to use it, or you could adapt it accordingly. Now, below the post-lesson stage, okay, you can see here, you can see a dialogue, and these dialogues appear quite often in this module. Here, you can see the cartoon teacher there inquiring. And I'm sure most of you teachers, even me, we have queries from time to time, especially when dealing with suggestions given from documents or modules. I'm thinking, can I do something else instead? How about another activity as an alternative? So what this part does is more or less clarifies that we can carry out our own activities just as long as it serves the purpose. Okay, for instance, it's suggested here that groups of pupils create a word ladder. So they take turns writing words to fill up the spaces between ladder rungs, and they try to do so the fastest. And it makes sense. It's a writing post-lesson activity fit for a writing lesson. And this is also one of the post-lesson activities suggested in the scheme of work. So need I say more? However, if the idea that this teacher has, the popcorn adjective activity, helps pupils to review and reflect on the lesson as well, then it can be carried out as an alternative post-lesson activity. For those of you wondering, I'm also curious. Aliza will help explain a little bit more about this popcorn adjective activity suggested in this section of the module. Aliza, care to share with us?
Aye, sure, Sarah. This activity, popcorn adjective, is literally similar to popcorn reading if you are familiar using it, whereby one pupil would write an adjective on a popcorn shaped paper, which will then be pasted on a popcorn box, which could be an actual box or a picture on the board, and then the pupil pops another pupil's name by calling their name out aloud. So the other pupil right now will write another adjective on a popcorn shaped paper, and the cycle continues. So the class would literally be filling up their popcorn boxes with adjectives. If you want the class to be popping more, the activity could start off with maybe 3 to 5 pupils. And looking at it, it actually serves the purpose as a post lesson activity, replacing the word ladder activity for this writing lesson. So, Sarah, I hope you can use this to pop more fun in your class.
Okay, watch out. I'm going to pop your name. Alisa. Well, it definitely sounds interesting. Who knows? I might give it a try in one of my lessons soon. Thanks for sharing, Alisa. Okay, let's continue. So once the lesson is completed and we have collected the pupils' written work, we can then evaluate their progress based on the Performance Standards Guide for Writing Skills, taken from the DSKP for Year 6 English. Now, in the DSKP, the descriptors corresponding to Learning Standard 4.2.1 give detailed information about themselves and others, is pointed out for you here in this slide, and it is the first bullet of each row. Or you could refer to the performance standards for writing skills in this module, both of which assist you in gauging pupils' progress. But let me reiterate, the performance level descriptors in the DSKP, they're extracted and included here. And to help you navigate these performance standards better, the performance levels presented in this module are arranged in progression from performance level 1 to performance level 6 for each individual learning standard. So that when you refer to this, you or the teachers are assisted in helping you to ease the process of assessing your pupils. Okay, together, let's have a look at the end of this particular section. Okay, from here, we can see that the teacher has evaluated the pupil's written work and has awarded this pupil a performance level 5. Now, I can't stress enough on how essential it is that we assess pupils' written work using the descriptors outlined in the Performance Standards Guide for Writing Skills. And this is what the teacher has done here. These descriptors in the performance standards, they help us evaluate the quality of their work, of the students' work, and the pupils' work, and they help us to determine the appropriate performance level for each pupil, ensuring that our assessments also align with the national standards. And after assessing pupils' work, we can then continue on and record the pupils' progress throughout the learning year. And here in the module as well is a sample of this particular teacher's formative assessment recording sheet. And I'm sure most of you notice the big red exclamation icon at the bottom right corner. I mean, how could you miss it? Well, this is another icon featured in this module when exploring lessons. What this icon does is serve as a reminder that formative assessment, it doesn't follow a standardized template, and it encourages teachers to be creative and to be flexible when recording pupils' progress. I think that's about it, and that concludes our exploration of the sample of a textbook-based lesson that is included in Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2. But that's not the end of this segment. Next, you'll be exploring another lesson with Heyman. So let's see what he has in store for you. Take it away, Heyman.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. And I really hope our teachers are still with us. I will now proceed with a sample lesson that exemplifies a non-textbook teaching method, specifically emphasizing project-based learning. Please do not worry if the images look a bit fuzzy, as I'm about to dive deep into each one of them and clear things up, right? Okay, my dear teachers. First of all, I welcome you to embrace the option to expand the slideshow to full screen for a more clearer view. Okay, I've included multiple images within a single slide to actually enhance clarity and facilitate your understanding to my explanation. Now, we will look into the sample lesson plan. All the essential information has been actually provided for you in this module the teachers to give a clearer understanding on how a complete lesson plan should look like. While we recognize that there isn't a standardized format across all states and schools, the key details such as lesson, unit, skills, duration, and learning standards generally remain consistent. Okay, this is lesson 160 for SK and lesson 96 if you're referring to SJK SOW. Unit 8, which is going away. The learning standards chosen were 1.2.3, understand with support longer, simple narratives on a range of familiar topics, and 3.2.2, understand specific information about and details of two paragraphs or more. Okay, my dear teachers, as a reminder, we have previously shared where to locate the definitions for the terms outlined in the learning standards. You still remember? That's right. You can actually find them in the SOW. As for this particular lesson, 1.2.3 consists of one term, which is longer, simple narratives. And if you refer to the SOW, the meaning shown is stories or sequence of events which are usually more than 15 lines long and maybe considerably longer. This information is actually essential for us to develop accurate and effective materials tailored to our group of pupils. If you look at this sample lesson, the pre-lesson part starts with playing a set of short clips from different languages, and pupils guess the origin country of the songs based on the languages used in it. If you feel that this activity is actually impractical for your groups of pupils, here comes the important element, differentiation. As for this lesson, the suggested activity is to get the pupils, especially the less proficient ones, to name the country and activities related to it. The proficient pupils may name the countries and try to describe the weather. This is merely a suggestion, and teachers are free to actually design or you can choose an activity that suits the need and level of your pupils. Okay. The lessons then proceeds to the lesson delivery segment, which includes a suggested pop quiz followed by a video viewing activity. As you can see on the screen now, the lesson in this module is accompanied by illustrative questions. This question often reflect the doubts we as teachers frequently encounter. Okay, and regarding this specific lesson, the key question is whether we can use any videos or audio besides the one recommended in our SOW. And the answer is definitely yes. We are free to use any materials that suit the needs and interests of our pupils. Okay. In addition, it addresses another vital aspect, our formative assessment. The type of assessment has also been recommended. For this particular lesson, peer assessment through a gallery walk has been proposed. Okay, the provided sample lesson includes activities tailored for classrooms with mixed proficiency pupils. The sample lesson in the module is so detailed that even the materials mentioned have been given for the teacher's use. Okay, as for this lesson, you will find some mind maps designs provided as you can see on the screen now. Okay, this is the one. Not only that, the lesson also includes material for assessment to be carried out. These are some of the mind maps templates. You can actually find the module being attached. Okay, the closing part again stressed about the freedom given to the teachers in deciding the best activity for every stage of a lesson. And this lesson would lead us correctly to how to start from lesson planning, putting in the element of differentiation to cater the needs of all level performers, and towards assessing them. After each lesson, the selected skills will be referenced in the DSKP to evaluate the students and assign them the most appropriate performance level. After each set of learning standards in our DSKB, teachers, you will find the performance standards guides. Here we have to go through the descriptors. It's very important to go through the descriptors and based on it, award the pupil with the most suitable PL or performance level. And we must always remember that there is no standard format or template for recording the pupil's performance level. And therefore, um, it is up to the teachers to come up with your own format and comprise all information about your pupil's performance. And another important reminder is that we can always repeat the same learning standard in other lessons. And of course, the performance level may differ according to your pupil's performances in each lesson. As we can see here, based on the work produced by this particular pupil, the teacher has chosen to grant her PL5. Yes, this is the one. Okay. It is essential that we select the most suitable performance level for our students, taking into account the work completed. And this choice will provide both us, the teachers, and pupils with a clear understanding of our pupils' progress, allowing educators to plan appropriate lessons and materials for the improvement of our pupils. So, my dear teachers, that is all from me, and I would like to pass the session back to the moderator. Back to you, Mr. Shazwa.
Okay, thank you to the both of you, Mr. Hammond and Miss Sarah. Well, I do have some questions. So first up, I'm gonna ask Sarah. So Sarah, since the lesson that you've shown us is the textbook-based lesson and follows the SOW, so is it a must for the teachers to follow verbatim exactly like the activities suggested in the SOW and the textbook?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shazwan, for the question. So we did sort of touch on this just now in this segment in the textbook-based lesson. Remember when we discussed the dialogues and the teacher's queries about carrying out other activities than what has been suggested. So it's not mandatory to follow the activities in the scheme of work exactly as outlined. What the scheme of work does is it provides a structured guide, but as teachers, we have the flexibility to adapt the activities to fit our pupils' needs, to fit their interests. What's important is that the learning standards are met. In this webinar, you can also see how Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2 helps us by giving us plenty of options to modify or supplement the activities while still aligning to the curriculum. And also, you mentioned textbook in your question, Mr. Shazwan. Uh, in regard to textbook lessons, textbook-based lessons, I would understand their circumstances. I mean, there are lesson outlines in the scheme of work that clearly instruct the teacher to refer to the respective teacher's books when planning lessons. But then, while the textbook is a valuable resource for lessons, it shouldn't replace the scheme of work as our primary guide. The scheme of work it ensures that all the required learning standards are covered, and the textbook serves as a tool, one of the tools, to achieve them.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So, Mr. Human. So here's one question for you on project-based learning PBL. Yeah. So when we talk about PBL, project-based learning, so does it have to be something big? You know what I mean? And does it have to be completed or carried out in one lesson? Sometimes when we talk about PBL, we often get the idea of something which is big, and sometimes it sounds far-fetched. For example, if I were to ask my year four pupils to come up with something to do project about doing their bits for environments, right? So it sounds pretty big. So can it be carried out in one single lesson? So what do you have to say about this, Mr. Hemant?
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shazwan. It's really a good question. Okay. First of all, how big it has to be is depending on the level of pupils you have. We teachers just need to ensure that it is a project which is practical for our pupils. Because all of us are having a different set of pupils, right? So it has to be adjusted according to the level of our pupils. And answering the second part of the question of does it need to be completed in one lesson? Okay, first of all, if you look at the meaning of project-based learning, you'll find that the key phrase that will explain the whole thing is that it is a teaching method where students work on an extended period of time. PBL is designed to be an in depth learning experience that usually spans multiple lessons or even weeks sometimes. And this process actually gives them opportunity to explore a topic, to develop their critical thinking, to support collaboration among the classmates, and of course, stimulate their problem solving skills. Before they come up with their meaningful product, the product that we are actually expecting from them. So I think rushing through PBL in one lesson might not give students, our pupils, enough time to fully engage with the material or develop a high quality outcome. It's most effective when students have ample time to actually to reflect, to revise, and deepen their learning throughout the project. So it is always better to have a longer period of time, and definitely not one lesson only, depending on what is expected from the pupils and the level of pupils in your classroom. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hemant. So the key here is PBL is supposed to provide pupils with the opportunity for them to explore, deep dive into the lessons, right? So it has to be something which is meaningful to them, and what matters most is the process rather than the outcome, the products, right? Uh, yeah, okay. Thank you for your answer, Mr. Hemant. So moving on, we will venture into digital tools for language lessons. For that, I would like to call on Miss Aliza. Take it away, Miss Aliza.
Well, thank you, Mr. Shazwan. Well, thanks to Sarah and Heman for, I would say, the more formal part of the module. And here we have some sort of like assistance for teachers, in today's world of technology and with AI taking over most industries. Personally, and also from what I see, digital tools are becoming 21st century educators' best friends. And also, digital tools for education are mushrooming today with a plethora of resources and tools for us to choose for various purposes, actually. So it's not literally just for activities in the classroom, but for us as teachers in terms of lesson planning and in terms of assessment. And I believe that's what Mobim is all about. It's about how to assist teachers to use all the documents and to use all the resources that we have. So now, Moving on, I know it's high time, it's 3 p.m., and most of us are very cranky and sleepy. So, for the next 3 minutes, I would love to challenge all of you to take up a little challenge to test your digital knowledge in the field of education. All right. So, for that, I would like to ask all of you to get something to write on. It could be your phone, your tab, your a piece of paper, and as you can see on the screen right now, we have 25 icons showed. So you're going to be seeing a 3 minutes timer. So you have 3 minutes to list down as many icons that you know of. And please, please do not Google your answers. This is the time to challenge yourself and see what do you know and what is there to explore. All right. So can we have the 3 minutes timer for everyone to start thinking?
3 minutes left.
You don't have to put in the answers in the comments. Just write it down on a piece of paper or anywhere, or even a discussion with your friends around you. All right, I'm liking that most of you are putting up answers in the comments. All right.
Left.
I see some very interesting answers in the chat box. All right, keep it going. We have 25 here. I don't see the answer to all.
Left.
We have someone saying number 7 is Starbucks. I highly doubt it's Starbucks. Someone says they know 12 of them. Cool. Right.
30 seconds left.
The song makes us doop dap doop dap. Yeah, it does. It's a countdown.
Left.
All right, 10 seconds.
5, 4,
4.
3, 2, 1.
All right, time is up. All right. Now, let's see if we are on track, and let's see if you're a tech geek or not, at least in the world of education. Yeah. Okay, so let's check the answers one by one. So the first one is the easiest, and that's the first answer I saw, which was Google Classroom. And the next one is, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, it's Kahoot. Also the third one, Quizzes. The next one is Quizlet. I mean, I'm used to using Quizlet, but I was not familiar with the icon myself. So that is Quizlet, number 4. And next is number 5 is Padlet. 6 is Google Slides. 7, it's not Starbucks, it's actually Prezi. It's actually used for presentations in a more interactive manner. Right. Number 9 is Edpuzzle. I saw someone answering Edpuzzle. It's used for videos. Number 9 is Defeat. This is actually a very good platform to generate teaching materials in a very short period of time. Number 10 is Nearport. So Nearport has a lot of online platform activities in one specific platform. Okay. Then number 11 is the latest addition to the world of AI. It's ChatGPT. Next is Facebook. I'm sure it's commonly known by millennials. And then we have 13, Instagram. Next is Snapchat. So it's more of a Gen Z thingy, Snapchat. So if you're using Snapchat, you're more of a Gen Z person. Yeah. And then we have Discord, used for discussions. Following to that is Telegram. And then 17, we have WhatsApp. Next is Pinterest, where we can find very unique, interesting ideas, not just for teaching, but also for many other areas of our lives. 19 is Flipgrid. And moving on to that is TikTok. And we have Microsoft. Following to that, we have Skype. And 23 is Google Meet. The next one, someone did answer this. It's Wattpad. It's actually a platform that has a fun story and reading elements. And the last one is Duolingo, which is used to learn new languages. All right. So if you have at least 20 correct answers, I officially declare all of you as a tech geek, at least in the field of education. So if you have 20 and more correct answers, put up a thumbs up in the comments so that we know who you are. And if you're not, worry not. We are all here to learn and to know new apps and technology as we go by. All right, so that's the part of icons and new apps. So moving on to that, as you are aware, there are actually an abundance of platforms and applications which we could use to our advantage as teachers. It can be from lesson planning to classroom activities, even homework, and also for assessment. Assessment. So in our Delima platform itself, we have various platforms that has free access to that could be utilized in our lesson planning. So a few AI tools that's shown here could be used for this agenda. And I'm sure you're all very familiar with ChatGPT. However, we have similar upgraded AI tools as well, such as Copilot, Gemini, and Perplexity. So uh, to utilize technology in our lesson planning, yeah. So in Mobim Bahasa Inggeris Tahap 2, there are a few suggested tools and resources which could be used for various purposes, and we actually extracted some from the Lima as well. However, to be mindful with this rapidly evolving world of technology, many new applications and platforms may exist. Like even now, as we are speaking, there may be new apps being, created, and also some of those in the module may be obsolete in the nearest future. So it's up to us to keep, upgrading ourselves. And for today's purpose, I would love to introduce one specific platform that I find very interesting, and in a way that it actually saves my time in creating materials. And this platform is called Defeat, and that actually helps us in generating resources and materials for lessons. So if you can see on the slide, the website is there, and this platform generates resources based on levels required, as well as the type of resources that are required as well. So depending on your topic that you choose, so you could as easily type the topic, or you could even embed a video, or even type a list of vocabulary, for example, apple, orange, strawberry, and resources are generated using whatever that you type in. So Uh, through what I'm showing you right now, if you can see, the resources generated varies. It can be in a form of pictures. It could be in a form of a passage. So if I can have the next slide, that would be good. Yeah so what you're seeing right now are the resources that could be generated from this website. It can be in the form of pictures, passages, questions, vocabularies, and so on and so forth. All right, and you will be able to select more specific materials based on the kind of activity that you have planned for your lesson. It could be a thinking map, it could be a specific reading strategy. They even have materials for group work and also for enrichment activities. So, as I mentioned, this is just one example of many tools out there for us to explore. These resources to not only help us to generate level appropriate materials, but it's also very time efficient in terms of generating materials. So, if any of you know of any platform or application that could be used in the English lesson, feel free to share it with us in the comment box so that we can learn from each other and utilize it and explore it. So I'm hoping to explore it and I'm hoping to use it for my own pupils when I go back to school. All right. So with that, Mr. Shazwan, I am passing this session back to you right now.
Thank you, Miss Aliza. That is really interesting to get to know about the all the digital tools out there that we can choose from. I'm very sure the pupils can really benefit from all of those tools, to enhance their learning. Right. I think we have come to the end of the session. Before we end our session, let's go back to our presenters to hear if they have something to tell us about our English mobbing. So, Ariza, would you mind to start first?
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Basically, this module was created by teachers for teachers, and we actually put a lot of thought into developing this module to assist teachers in delivering the curriculum to its best, while bringing out the best out of our pupils. It actually has been designed in a way to be attractive, interactive, and concise, yet very friendly using layman terms. I know many of you are asking, where's the module? Where's the module? However, you don't really need to refer to it now because it's actually very self explanatory. And it's actually pretty straightforward to use it. And you'll be using the module to help you plan your lessons more effectively. So again, we hope that this module will be a document that you will all be able to refer to understand the structure of our English curriculum, especially in seeing how everything is actually connected from learning standards to performance standards with yearly progression. So the pure intention behind the curation of this module by teachers was to provide that one document for us to refer to understand the curriculum better. Yeah.
Thank you, Aliza. Right. So the module will be uploaded in our portals. You can find them in our BPK portal, Google site, and also in Delima very soon. Okay. Right. Thanks, Aliza. So let's proceed to Sarah. Over to you, Sarah.
Okay, well, fellow teachers, let me first begin by saying I was not aware that you didn't have the module with you, but hopefully you were able to engage with the slides to look into what Mobim Bahasa Inggris Tahap 2 has in store for you. Throughout this webinar, I think we explored Mobim Bahasa Inggris Tahap 2 together. feels like a lifetime. I want to express my sincere hope that this module becomes a valuable tool in all our teaching practice. And like every teacher attending this webinar, I too am a teacher, and I'm speaking as a teacher, not a module developer. And I see myself using this module as it's designed to not only support me, to support all of us in delivering engaging lessons, effective lessons, and it also helps to simplify the process of formative assessment, differentiation, and adapting learning materials. And I think by integrating this module into our daily lives, I believe that it'll help me meet the diverse needs of my students more effectively, but still staying aligned with the curriculum standards, that is. And so, come on, teachers, we can enhance our teaching strategies and we can ensure our students are getting the support that they need to thrive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. That was really insightful. And last but not least, Mr. Hemmond, you have anything to say about our English mobbing?
Yeah, surely, Mr. Shazwan. Okay, being the first-hand user of this module, I strongly believe that it will be extremely valuable and useful for our teachers as it provides clear guidance on lesson planning, ensuring a smooth flow from the initial stages right through to assessing pupils. So it's practical resource that will support teachers in organizing the lessons more effectively. I'm truly happy to be part of the team and excited to see the positive impact this will have on teaching and learning outcomes. Thank you, Mr. Shazwan.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hemmond. So, Dr. Tay, any word from you?
All right. Thank you to Shazwan and my three lovely teachers here. Yes, I'm here. Don't worry. I was reading your messages and so on. Okay. Let me do a quick recap then. Okay, see if I'm able to share my screen here. Okay. All right. Please put on my slide, please. Okay, please show my slide up. Okay, it's not up yet. Okay, perhaps I'll just answer a few questions. The first question. Okay, my slide is up here, right. Just a quick recap. Mobim 2.0 is actually we putting together the year 4, 5, and 6. It's like one-stop reference for level 2 teachers. As you can see at these learning standards, okay, we listed out 1.3.1, there are three for year 4, year 5, and year 6. So when you refer at this year for the terms, so we actually focus on that the unfamiliar words. Unfamiliar words here, so these are the words people do not really understand or produce in English. So if this is for year 4, and for year 5, it's other known words. That means they guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from clues provided by other known words. Then we move on to year 6. Year 6 here, the learning standard is guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from clues provided by other known words or by context on familiar topics. So you can see gradually from year 4 is from unfamiliar words moving to other known words, then to by context. So we put all these three together in one book in this Mobim 2.0. So teachers, you don't have to flip here and there and print out everything. You have to print out SOW for year 4, SOW for year 5, SOW for year 6. It's like a one-stop kind of resource here, the module. We need to refer, okay, right now, because we have mixed ability pupils in our class, right? In our school, we have mixed ability pupils. So if you have particular pupils If they can't achieve the 1.3.1 for year 5, other known words, and you know that your pupils are not at the targeted level, okay? You still remember targeted level? For year 4, the targeted level for CFR is at, what is the CFR level for year 4? Okay, let me look at the live then. Someone mentioned that you need to have some interaction, right? Okay, so come, let's interact then. Okay, so what is the CFR level for year 4? Okay, let me scroll and look at the live. Okay, A1. Okay, some say A1. A1, is it low, mid, or high? A1, low, mid, or high? I haven't seen the correct answer yet. Year 4, come on, teachers. Low A1, mid A1, until I see the correct answer, yeah? Year 4 people, what is our targeted CEFR level? Low A1, no. Mid A1, no. A1? Hi, yes, thank you. Who said A1? It's not A1. Yes, from baby and2 Yahoo. Congratulations, you put A1 high. Yes. If you remember, for year 4, for unfamiliar words, sorry, just now you were saying that your pupils at year 5, if you think that they have not achieved the other known words, like they words that they should know, so they are at this the one before because they haven't achieved the targeted level. So you are looking at pupils at unfamiliar words. So this is when you do your differentiation by the materials. So you have to look up materials on this unfamiliar word so that your pupils can guess the meaning of unfamiliar words from the clues provided by knowledge of the topic. So we listed out year 4, year 5, and year 6 for you. So you can do differentiation. Okay, my year 5 pupils are so good now. All right, I can move on to year 6. Maybe you can give a little bit more challenging tasks to certain pupils, because when we talk about differentiation strategies, it's not only for the weaker ones. We also do the same for the better ones, the more advanced pupils. So that's when you do. All right, so this is the book. This is a module. Okay, then I will just sort of recap on lesson mapping. Okay, remember we have a list of those learning standards. For example, 1.1.1 SK and is in pink color, and this SJK. As mentioned by our panel just now, SK has more lessons, okay, in SOW because the contact hour is more than the SJKC and then the SJKT. So if you want to focus, you say, okay, in English, we are not teaching the content per se, we are teaching the skill. So what are the 4 skills that we are talking about? Okay, we are talking about listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill, and also writing skill. So this is 1.1.1. Okay, again, quiz time. Who can tell me what is 1.1.1? What skill is this? Is this reading skill, writing skill? Can I have answer? Because just now you requested interactive kind of session. Come, tell me some answer here. 1.1.1. What skills is this? Yes, thank you so much. The first person who mentioned listening from, my line was a bit delayed. Okay, yes, you answered listening, correct? So 1.1.1 is the learning standard for listening. So if you are looking at 1.1.1 for SK school, okay, Sekolah Kebangsaan, you know that in your SOW for this year 4, these are the SOW with the learning standard of 1.1.1. Okay, it's a reference for you. We have done this for you, and it's like one-stop reference whereby, okay, 1.1, my pupils are still weak at this learning standard. Let's go back to lesson SOW, maybe go to 11 or 17 and 43. So it's already there for you. Okay? Can you understand that? All right. So that one is year 4 and this is year 5. See, in year 5, this is still listening. So they are all in sequence. We have listening, we have speaking, we have reading, and we have writing for you as well. Another highlight for in this module 2.0, we call it for level 2, for year 4, 5, and 6. We even match the performance level side by side with the learning standard. Remember just now we mentioned about 1.1.1 for listening, recognize and reproduce with support a wide range of target language phonemes. So when you want to do the performance, the PBL with your pupils, so what is the reference here? We have the performance level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And those that we already highlighted in bold, these are the keywords that you can refer to. Okay? Because we do receive feedback from teachers saying that it's difficult to judge. Where to put them? Do I put it at TP3, PL3, or TP4? So these are the keywords. All right? For new teachers and novice teachers, if you look at, if your pupils can recognize and reproduce the words with a wide range of target language phonemes with support, they are at level B, performance level 3. So if occasional support, you can give performance level 4. So if your pupils can recognize and reproduce a wide range of target language phonemes easily, so the key word here is easily with occasional support, right? Sometimes we give some support. The teacher gives support. Support here, it can be the visual support. It can be a verbal support. So it's like giving support, yeah? Sokongan. And at PL6, performance level 6, your pupils can recognize and reproduce a wide range of target language phonemes easily with little or no support at all. So we put it all together in this Mobim 2.0 or level 2 is for your easy reference here. Okay, it's all here. I know you haven't gotten this module. Just be patient. We will give it to you soon, yeah? So all this all listed down is like a one-stop reference for the teachers who are teaching level 2 primary school students, yeah, the pupils there. And then we give examples of textbooks and also non-textbook based lessons. Okay, so just stop sharing there. All right, so back to my questions now. Q&A. So the first question, do we need to do saringan to identify the students or the pupils for this Mobim? Well, this is like an extension. Yes, it's like an extension for what you have with the SKP, your SOW. So saringan here, you need to do some filtering. You need to identify, yes, this is what we always do, but we have no formal saringan for that. This is for your own PBD record. You know, particular, maybe 5 people sitting there, they are at certain level already reach a performance level 4, or maybe is only at performance level 3. So you will just identify. And our Mobim talks about differentiation strategies. We talk about different resources, and just now Ms. Aliza already shared different digital tools that we can use to help you. I call these digital tools, or even the ChatGPT, my AI buddy. They are my AI buddy. They are my buddy. They are my friends who can help me in my planning as well, and also in my teaching. I'm too, as I was once a teacher as well, right? So question number 2 from TNG. Any suggestions how to tackle students with no basic skill in English? Also those who can't read and speak English. Okay, do you still remember how we learn English? We learn by we must first get the input, the environment, get them to listen to songs, play some stories, or even play the music, the songs, even music as well. This is how they learn, they get exposure to English. All right, you can, if it's the level 1 pupils, You can give them nursery rhymes. Okay, get them to love the language. So, of course, in speaking, in reading, you need to teach them the basic literacy, how to recognize words, recognize sounds. You have to start from scratch. Okay, don't worry. You can start from scratch. Okay, you can read the short Peter and Jane, those books. Okay, slowly and surely your pupils can reach the certain. Perhaps this academic year only do this part, but constantly, if we continue giving support to our weaker pupils, I'm sure they will learn more. Okay. Question number 3. This session is recorded and we can refer to this session again. Yeah, yes, you are right, Mr. Hafiz. This is on YouTube. You can watch as many times as you want. Okay. So when you get the module later, physical module, or you can print out or even on the soft copy, then you can refer back to this. The link, the YouTube link is there, and anytime on this webinar. Okay. You feel free to come back. Okay, the next question from Sarah SAS. Yeah, how about remedial instructions then? Just implement Mobim after this? No, RA is still there, but Mobim is actually the extension, as what mentioned by Mr. Sun Ming Hui. It's just like one-stop reference. We put year 4, 5, 6 materials together, the SKP, the learning standard, the performance level, together with differentiation strategies and some digital tools. We put it all together in one module bimbingan. That's why it is called module bimbingan, whereby we guide is a guide, okay, for you. You don't have to flip many different DSKP or SOW. So one stop, refer and plan your lesson. Okay. So next question, last one. So basically, this Mobim module is an extension of SOW to help teachers prepare the lessons better, right? Yes, you're right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's look at any more questions if I have it here. Your messages are going very fast. There's so many questions just now. Okay. Still downloading. And okay, we switch between Mobim depending. Okay, so it's, yeah, teachers, you have your autonomy. You know what's best for your pupils. Get your own setting, because even in one class, you have different disability class and so on. Select the students. Yes, thank you. Mobim is for all. It is for all. And you have all the level 1, level 2 materials there. The reference there is good for you. Okay. So before I end, of course, I would like to challenge the teachers out there. Yes, it's not easy. Nothing comes easy, right? So we have to work for it. And what we have here is a module bimbingan, the Mobim for level 2 primary school teachers. So embrace it. Okay, it's like another, just now you mentioned that it's another book and so on, but it is a reference. It's helpful. As mentioned by my 3 panels here, they have done it as well, and they find it, they can just flip and identify the learning standard, the performance level. That is so easy. Yeah. Okay. Right. Any more? Okay, no more questions. So I'll pass it back to Shazwan.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tate. Right, I think module. So this is not a task for you to do. This is like a guidelines for you. It's a guide, so you can use it while planning for your lesson, to make your lesson much more meaningful, right? And then to enhance your teaching and learning in the classroom. Okay, so just a quick one from me. So I just want to make a shout out to everyone watching and joining us. Just in case nobody told you today, you're special. Okay, right. We have reached the end of the webinar. So, congratulations to all who have attended and stayed with us until now, and to those who posted questions and responded to Dr. Tay's questions and all. So, thank you very much for being so cooperative. So, teachers, you can register your attendance through the attendance link pinned on the YouTube. So, let me check first whether we have it right there.
Yeah, Shazwan, I'd like to interject just one moment. Yeah, give me
Okay.
1 minute.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tay.
While we are waiting, I think it's already there. The attendance link is pinned at the YouTube, the pinned there. What I want to answer this question by Muhammad Azari. He said that the problem is with all the apps need to pay. Are there any free apps? Come on, what is the answer? What is the answer? There are so many free apps. Where can you find the free apps? Aliza, can you share with us the answer?
Yeah, most of the free apps are in Delima. You can actually find them there, especially if you use your MOE account. Most of them are free. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. They are, most of them are free to a certain extent, of course, but it's free. It's more than enough for us. I always use Canva education, for educators and so on. It's more than enough. Even you have ChatGPT, everything is there. So log into your Delima, explore, and enjoy the journey. Okay, that's all from me again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Tay and Aliza. I believe the kehadiran link is already pinned in the YouTube, so you can click on the link for the SPL KPM attendance. Right. So that's all for now. Let's just hope that you would benefit from this module. Enjoy flipping through the module since you have it now. Okay. Right. Anything else, Dr. Tay? I think we're good to go, right? Okay. So, farewell to everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. All right. So, thank you, Aliza. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Himan. Thank you, Dr. Tay. See you guys around. Okay.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.